Hello everyone, welcome to Dupi Animation, and today's tutorial is going to be based on the tutorial we did last week, which was the LA IDENT TV creation. This is the second part. So the second part is going to be involved with the actual logo, which is the LA. All right, so this is our logo here in AI. So I just click and drag it into Cinema 4D here. Okay, all right, so let me show you what actually the setup is about. So this is the setup. Okay, when you look at it very well, you see that it's just the logo that I've break down using the sweep nerve, the extrusion, that's all, creating depth within it. All right, then applying color, then reflections, that's all. There's nothing much to it. Okay, so let me bring a new window. All right, so with our logo drop into Cinema 4D, what I did was this. I just separated the splines. Okay, so let me separate them and let me clear this. So for the L, I just went in for the extrude nerve. Okay, then drop it inside. All right, so this one, let me give it something like 60. 60 is too small, so let me just make it 100. Okay, so let's keep it as 100 first. All right, so now let's see this one. This one is the L. Okay, so now let's see this one. So this one is the red parts of the logo. All right, so I'm going to use this and this. They are one. Okay, so I'll go in for the extrusion, then select these two. You see that only one is extruded. Let me make it something like 100. You see that when I dropped the two splines in, only one was extruded. All right, so that's not a problem. So with this, just come here and take a reticle. Okay, just take it, and the second one will also be brought in. All right, so we have this. Okay, the next is the star within. All right, so the same thing, we go in for the extrusion. Okay, then we drop that one also in, then give it something like 100, or let me just make it 200 so that it will match it. Okay, so this is going to be our base. Okay, this is going to be our base, so these ones will not move. So let me select the 3 extrusions, then group them. All right, let me name them base, then hold the control, then click and drag to duplicate. All right, so now the next one will be the sweep nerve. Okay, so for the L, I'll go in for the sweep, then bring it in here. Okay, then release, then separate the spline from the extrusion. Okay, let me just release all of them from the extrusion. So let me bring in a sweep nerve. Remember guys, this is just a breakdown. Okay, for time's sake, I don't want it to start afresh and be arranging a whole lot of things. So let's bring in the L. Okay, now let's go in and select a spline. Let's go in for a rectangular spline with a size of, first, let me make it 5.5 first. 5.5. Okay, now let's drop it also inside. Okay, now we move it away. Let me move it here, then increase the height to something like this, something like let me see, 200 is okay. Then the width of 10, let me see. Okay, let me leave it like this for now. Okay, all right, so let me name this one L. Let me duplicate this one. Okay, now let me bring in one of the A. Let me clear this one. So the top one, which is the A, the top one. Now I'm breaking them apart, remember. That's what I'm also bringing. I'm extruding here. I'm sweeping here, rather. So I have this for it. Okay. All right. So now the bottom one. Okay. The bottom one, I'll duplicate this one. I'll duplicate this one. I'll duplicate that one. Then clear the one on top so that I'll have the bottom one. So the one under, I'll give it an extrusion or something like, let me see, 500 and see. Okay, then let me bring it out. So let me make it something like 800 and see. Okay, so 800 is okay. It's quite long, so it's okay. So you see how I'm breaking them apart? You see how I'm doing it? All right. So it depends on what you want. Okay? It depends on what you want. Then you break it apart. All right? So with the X side, I'll duplicate the sweep nib here. Then clear the one in. Then bring this one in. And let me bring it under. Okay? So I'll have something like this. You see it there? Then I'll push it out. Okay? Let me bring it a bit closer. The height, let me make it something like, let me see, 400. Okay, 400 is okay. Let me link it to this one. So I have something like this. Okay. All right. Remember, we are just breaking it apart. Okay. So now let's duplicate this one again. The first extrusion, L extrusion. Let's duplicate that one. Then give it extrusion depth of something like 1.3. Let me give it something like 2.3, 2,300. Okay, so you have something like this. Linking with this one. That's still not enough, so let me make it 3,000. At least it's a bit longer. You see that? Okay. So let's watch this again. So you see how I set this up? Simply, although it's not the exact same arrangement, but that's the process basically. You see how I set it up, the spline and everything is based on your own arrangement. Okay. So let's go back to it again. When you look at this one very well, you see that there's a rounded triangle moving at the background. You see that one? You see this one, that particular one. Okay, so let's create that one. All right. Okay. So now let's switch the view. Let's go to the front view so that I create that particular rectangle. All right. Let me go in. So let me go in for the pen tool. Okay. Then let me sketch that particular spline. I think somewhere here will do. Okay. Here. Now let me go back to our main here. Okay. So let me just use the sweep nib, or let me just duplicate this one. Control D. Let me drop it in. All right. Then clear this one. So we have this. Let me give it a depth of something like let me make it 600. Then give it a size of 20. 20 is too small, so you say maybe something like 40 or 50. Okay, so 50 is okay. So from here, go to the MoGraph and select cloner. then drop it into the cloner. Okay, drop it into the cloner. Then on cloner, let's see what it says here. Y is 50, so put that to 0. Then on Z, go something like, let me see, 200. 200 is not enough, so let me see, 1002. Okay, 1002 is okay. So from there, you increase the copy. Okay, so something like 50 is okay. All right, so now you have this. Now, all that you have to do is, for the movement, you don't have to do that much movement. Okay, you just move the cloner. Okay, so you set a key, you move it to the middle somewhere, you set a key at the beginning, set a key, then bring the timeline to maybe somewhere here. All right, then you move it backwards a bit. That's all. Then you set a key. So you have this. See that? If it's too fast, the frame rate, just increase the frame rate. All right? So you have this so that you open it up. Go to Windows, Timeline, your F curve. All right? On F curve. Let me see what we have here. F curve, just soften the flow. All right? Soften the flow by straightening the curves. Okay, so you have this. Okay, I think that's enough. So you have something like this. You see the movement? So now, just come inside here. So this is where you are going to do your final work. All right? I think the size of the rectangular there is too big. So let me make it something like 30. Okay? Simple. So you have something like this. I think it's still not enough. So let me make it 0.5. 0.5. 0.5. 0.5. Okay, then the size of that particular rectangle, let me put it to 20. So this is it. Okay, so you see how our setup is coming along. So let me go to our effects here, then select ambient occlusion. Okay, I just want to check it out. You see, simple arrangement. So now let's see what we have here again. You see that? So we have this over there. All right, we have this over there. So now let's go back to where we are doing the arrangement. Okay, so we have this. So basically, this is how the setup is all about. At the end of the day, it's you that is breaking it down. Okay, so don't let anything limit you. Just break it more if you want. All right. So I can decide to move this particular one here, maybe away from this. Then the star here, I can decide to move it in a bit so that this one will be hanging. Okay. So I have something like this. All right. So now the star. So now let me duplicate this particular spline. Okay. We are going to do the star alone. All right. So let me change the view to front view here. So with this star, let me bring it forward a bit. Let me bring the star alone forward a bit. The part one that we did the star arrangement. Okay. So we are going to clear this spline around the star so that it will be left it's only the spline. Okay. So now let's set this into point mode by clicking it here. All right. So we go for the selection tool, then start selecting the point. You select the point, then you delete. Select, delete, select, and delete. Just like that. Select, then you delete. Okay. So as easy as that. You select, then you delete. So now it's left with only the star. Okay. So now hold the control key then click and drag to duplicate the star. Then you bring this one in front a bit. Okay, so we bring this one in front a bit. Okay, then we duplicate it again, then bring this one out. Then let's scale this one down to something like maybe 0.5. Okay, so we have something like this. Now let's go in for the loop snap. Let's go in for the loop snap. All right, now let's select the 3, then drop them in. Okay, so although this one is a bit different from the one we did earlier on, but it's the same star. Okay, so we have this. So the 0.5, let's reduce it to something like 2.2. So it will be smarter more. Now let's go on loops. Let's come to objects. Then on mesh subdivision U 11. Then this one V2. Then 11. Okay, so we have something like this. All right, you have this. So you see where the azules is under here. That's not where we want it. Okay, so we'll come and click on the azules point here, then we move it upwards. Okay, we move it upwards and position it on top of the star, then click out. All right, now let's push it backwards again. Okay, so now let's fix the star there. All right, for time's sake, I'll be hurrying up a bit more. Okay, so push it there. All right, for the star, when you see here, when you watch this one, you see that I have extruded it here. Okay, although the one I did earlier on, this is not how I created the star. I used the one I did previously kind of star to do this. Okay, but for time's sake, I have to. So you see this, you see that I have a sweep nerve around the surface of the logo there, a sweep nerve star. Okay, so for that one, let me see. Let's see. Let me just duplicate that particular star, the one at the bottom. Okay, then move it backwards. Then come and select sweep nerve. Okay, sweep nerve, then drop it in. Then go in for the rectangular spline, drop it also in. Then reduce the size. Let me see, 10 first, then 10 again to see something. Okay, now let's increase the size to something like 60. Then the width to something like 20. Okay, so you see, that's what we have. So basically this is it. All right, so now for the star here, the one over here, you can duplicate it, then push it far away to extrude it. Okay, after extruding it, then you move it out. You see that? You see? That's all. So folks, this is how I did the setup. Okay, so let me try to stop here, then do a bit of coloring. Okay, let's say the main logo is what? Red and yellow or so. The main logo is what? Red and yellow. Okay, so now let's try to apply some simple colors to it. So let's see. Just double click here to create a new material, then open in. Then the color here, let me go for red. All right, then come to reflection. Okay, then change it to reflection legacy. Then the roughness, let me just reduce it. Okay, then the reflection strength, let me go up a bit. Okay, now I like to do this on the material. I'll just right click on it, then select rounded thorough. Okay, soft shadow, which I like to do. I don't know why. So this then maybe let me select this, the base. Okay, so the base, the L, then let me apply it to the L. Okay, so now you have this for the base. Okay, so now let me apply red. Let me apply red to this ones too. So we have this. So let me duplicate this one. So hold the control, click and drag. Then name this one yellow. Then this one red. Okay, so now let me change it to yellow. So the color yellow. Okay, so let me apply it to, let me move this one. Let me see the base of this one. So I have this there. All right, so you see I'm coloring it. Then apply maybe yellow to this one too. Okay, so now let's create a glass material. Let me just double click in, then open it, then transparency. All right, let me take transparency for the glass. Then let's see the refraction. Let's go 1.4. 1.4 for reflection. So I'll apply it to this one. See that? If those materials are reflecting inside the glass, you don't have to worry. Just right click on those particular items, then go to Cinema 4D tags, then select compositing tag. All right, then off the refraction, the reflection. Okay, so this and this, I'll just off them. Then off this one too. Okay, so let's see what we have. Okay, this is reflecting in. So that's the cloner. Let me off it also. Now you see, voila. Now they are no longer reflecting in as much. It's only the yellow part that we haven't applied those things that you are seeing there. Okay. So if you want to let those yellow ones not reflecting, you can just apply the same thing to it as well. All right. Now, when you watch the cloner here, I think the spacing within it is too small. So let me make it 1500, a bit more. Okay. All right. So basically, this is the setup. I don't want us to waste that much time on this one. So from here, let's create a sky, then try to end it. Okay. So now let's go. Now let's go to the tools here, then select sky. All right. Let's apply some sky material. Hey, lest I forget. So I created a reflectant material for only that bar, the cloner bar. Okay. I just off the color. Then the reflectant, go and select reflection legacy. Then off the roughness. Then increase the reflection strength. High. Okay. Then name it reflect. So that particular one, I applied it to the cloner. Okay. So that the cloner will be reflecting the sky around. Okay. Now let's create the sky too. Let's double click in. Okay, then on color, let's come to texture gradients. Okay, now let's change it to something like 2D vein. All right. Then on dark side, let's give it to something like light blue. Let's give it something like light blue. Then on the lighter side, let's give it something deeper, something a bit deeper. You can decide to add a bit of what luminance in here. Okay, so let me add a bit of luminance, then the brightness, reduce the brightness a bit. Okay, so 50 is okay. Let me check something. Okay, so you see that in our scene we don't have light in the scene. That's why some of these things are looking blunt. Okay, so with this done, you can introduce light into it to soften it. Okay, All right, I won't waste that much of your time. So basically, this is how I did the setup. I waste a whole lot of couple of time on it. All right. So see you next time, guys.